5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences, and happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Fat Tuesday.
All right, so Truth, Beer, and Podsequences, the
Was
podcast.
that a judgment?
No?
Would you?
No, self-reflection.
Fat Tuesday.
That Tuesday?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
What did he just say?
In New Orleans,
Who
it's
brought
Mardi
the
Gras.
beats?
Everywhere else, it's just Tuesday. So this is Truth, Beer, and Podsequences, the podcast where we listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you for being a gracious podcast host. Now, we give our version of the truth of how all that media and podcasts went, and hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other shows.
I mean, one of the hosts of one of those other shows keeps showing up week after week to threaten us, so I don't know if that means...
slowly poisoning you, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's going to take a
That's
long
what
time,
it
but
is.
it's a little
Yeah.
drop at a time.
Like
But it's the
children,
long
children
game.
in the attic.
There we go.
Yeah. So far so good. 2024.
We think.
Other than the mild poisoning,
Yeah. It's not mild, it builds.
it builds.
Yeah. Nobody come to Higher Gravity and drink the Imperial Headhunter because I've been poisoning it.
Oh.
Which is why I'm drinking what I'm drinking today. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
see.
Just realized what I was drinking.
To that in a little bit. I am Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally, and some of those other voices you heard. Well, one of them belongs to the best co-host in Podcast Landia.
I'm Julia, and I love to drink all the craft beer in Cincinnati, and I am really enjoying this winter weather that we are having today. It's phenomenal.
The winter weather, and the other voice belongs to the gnarly gnome.
That's me. I'm here.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Well, thanks
back.
for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I was like showing up
Even-
for other people's shows, but I can't make my own.
I was just going to say, much easier than doing your own.
We love having you.
It's
Gnome.
fine. It's fine.
So, that being said, all the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with. And, of course, I'm speaking for Julia and myself. Gnome can speak for whoever the fuck he wants.
Today, I speak for Firehouse Grill and Brewery.
Excellent.
Firehouse Grill and Brewery.
And brewery.
And brewery. I'm actually getting ready to tweet right now. They're
Okay.
shutting down the brewery.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All right.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Sad.
You heard it here first, folks.
Well,
Or maybe
Well,
not. By the time this
By
comes
the
out,
time
it'll
this
be
comes
tweet.
out, I was just
she's going to have
say.
to turn this around real fast.
Oh, God.
Get in the trunk.
We should be live streaming this. Holy crap.
Yeah, we can. Send
It would
Joe and Carolina.
Still, by the
Facebook.
time that we got stuff set up to try to do that, his tweet
Yeah,
would
but
already
still,
be out.
hopefully
So,
we'll
I mean,
Yeah.
well, we got the disclaimer. We've got who we are. We all have beverages in front of us in one form or another. So
Mm-hmm.
we should probably let people know what we're drinking because we actually drink on the show, not like a lot of the fake-ass podcasts
fake-ass
and
podcasts
content
out
out there
there.
where they don't. I mean, I'm starting to think that maybe Mike and Brett just have colored water in their glasses.
Well-
I'll need, if there was an episode on Monday of either Barstool Perspective or Brewcast Booze News, I was going to really pay attention to that, but
Yep.
strangely there wasn't one.
There wasn't one.
No. So, Gnome, guess first. What's we kind of already mentioned it, but
Yeah,
what's
I'm
in your
poisoning
glass?
myself. I'm drinking Imperial Headhunter, which the last time I said I was drinking it on the show,
It did not look like
it didn't
that.
look like this. I
No,
think this is
no.
the actual Imperial Headhunter.
Headhunter? Okay, all right.
Looks right.
Looks good.
Yeah, Marco, how about you?
I'm not drinking Imperial Headhunter.
It's true.
I am having West Coast IPA from Untitled Art. That is a non-alcoholic
Yep.
IPA.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that. And because 'tis about the season, I am drinking MaadTree's Guten Bock.
I think it's season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's season.
All right, that's fair. When does, because I know Oktoberfest starts in like July, does Bockfest start in, I guess, just January, or is it early February?
March.
March? Okay. So this is
Starts
early?
March 1st.
And
Ends
ends
March 4th.
4th. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It depends.
It's a very
It depends on
short
how the weekend
season.
hits.
Very
It starts the Friday of the first weekend of March and then ends Sunday the first weekend of March.
true. That's fair.
There you go.
That's fair. And that's why the beer goes so fast at Bockfest.
That's right.
People know it is not around for a long time, it's just around for a good time.
That's it.
Mark is like, no. She tries so hard. All right, let's...
I was trying to remember whose lyric that was.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
You'll remember before I do.
Taylor Swift.
I don't think so.
No.
No, probably not. We don't have a lot to talk about today as far as pieces of Cincinnati craft beer media. Mm-hmm. But what we do have, and we'll just kind of make sure everyone's on the same page here, we have an episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Yes.
We have an episode of Cincy Brewcast.
We do.
And we have an episode of Drinking with the Gnome.
Yes, Drinking with the Gnome.
Fan-freaking-tastic. So where do you guys want to start?
Craft Parenting Pod. Let's go. You all right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm dying slightly, as always.
We're all dying. We all die,
Right,
Steve-O.
exactly. It's the poison.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be the
Yeah.
poison.
It's working.
Aw, man.
Man, here
Way
I
to go,
thought I
Gnome.
wasted money.
See, obviously, I am the weaker of the two specimens here because Marco shows no sign of illness.
I beg to differ. Marco is definitely the weaker of the two.
I would agree.
All right, Craft Parenting Podcast, episode 153. This is a continuation of the previous week's episode. This is exploring English barley wine with Elijah Moreland.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the one that continues what ended incredibly abruptly and without any warning or notice or any, unless you looked at the show notes.
I
You
didn't
had
do
no
that.
clue.
It was
Yeah.
shocking.
It was just-
I was confused.
I was-
and
yeah.
slightly disturbed and sad.
Did you? How many times did you reboot things trying to figure out? Did I not download this correctly? Did I not like what?
Not
what
that many.
happened?
That's too much work.
Yeah.
I prefer the easy way. I just yelled, "What's going on? This is weird."
Yeah, they
and
didn't
then I got
give
over
you
it.
any
then you-
big thud or anything. They didn't go.
However,
episodes.
Yeah.
they did start this episode with a nice. Oh, by the way, we
Here's
ended that one early.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay,
that
okay.
made sense. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Yep. So let's see. They had like 6 more barley wines in this episode. So Caroline had a lot to read off of the cans and bottles that they
Right.
had.
Elijah had to cut her off with how much beer she was feeding him.
I'm yeah, he's like, I still need to get home. So when you're pouring this out, like I just need just the tiniest taste of these because oh my God, Joe was pretty much under the table. It sounded like.
Yeah.
So
At one point, they flashed. They came back from a jump cut, I guess is the term.
Yeah, that's the term.
And Joe was gone because he was under the table.
Really? See, I didn't get a chance to watch anything on the YouTubes as far as the,
Oh, man, the kids
media
were going
today.
crazy.
So they were in the video.
Oh, they had
Oh,
the
my goodness.
zoomies.
So I think that your idea of what happened last week, the sudden abrupt cut, may have been right. One of the
Yeah,
kids
that's
clotheslined
good.
himself on the camera.
Took it out.
Oh man, this is getting exciting.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to go
kind
back and
of
actually
fun.
watch these. They talked about how Listerman's American barley wine tastes different than English barley wine.
It's because we won the battle
Pretty much.
in the war.
It's America.
Absolutely.
America.
Elijah is a non-local regular in Nashville,
That was
which was a
news
fun.
for me.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
No, so
Yeah.
next time you're down in Nashville, go walking down Main Street there, just shout out, I know Elijah.
I know Elijah.
And I mean,
Oh no, I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna make a T-shirt with his face on it.
oh,
with that
nice.
mustache.
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
Says Elijah's my dude.
Oh, I like
See how
it.
many free beers I get.
Probably a ton.
Probably.
And all sours. Like
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to get any IPA. You're not
all
going to
sour.
get any macro. You're going to get all sours and barley wines, I guess. Well, because barley wine, we need to toss that in there.
That's how he gets his homebrew started fermenting with his homemade
Mustache wax.
mustache wax.
Right.
Just
What?
drops that in there and then gets his spontaneous fermentation started.
What can he not do? Like seriously, like makes his own mustache wax. He homebrews.
Ties
he
people to
is,
railroad tracks.
He ties people to railroad tracks. He is the king of Sasquatch calling. He is the king of trivia hosting.
Yeah.
He also said his family doesn't call repair people for
Right.
anything, so if something breaks, he fixes it.
Right. Like, is he God?
I don't think so.
Could
I think
be.
God,
I mean,
God's
be.
a woman, right?
I don't know.
How do you
He
tell
does
I
anything?
glow.
just assumed.
I mean,
But how do you tell anything?
right,
anymore?
right, exactly,
Don't judge.
exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, he does
could
have that.
be.
He does have a bit of a glow about him, so he could
He's
be
definitely got a glow.
ethereal
Yeah.
being. I mean,
I think I might have seen him turn water into wine once.
Oh.
So it is possible.
Oh, wow.
All
Okay.
signs point to. yeah.
Jesus was a home brewer.
He wears sandals to trivia night during the summer.
Oh my God. Are we exposing like one of the biggest secrets? Maybe it's not even a secret. Maybe we're just, behind the game on this one.
Next time I see him, I'll have to ask him a quiz question and see how he answers. Something good about apostles or like, I don't know. I don't know enough religious things to
Ask how he feels about people named Peter.
Ooh,
and
that's good.
Judas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ask him to wash my feet or something.
Oh yeah. And
Saw that on a
what?
commercial.
He'd probably. Elijah's the kind of
What a
guy that he would probably
what
give you
a
a slightly
commercial.
strange
Jeez.
look.
Jesus.
What a
And he'd be like-
commercial.
Just didn't know Elijah had it in him to have a bunch of Super Bowl commercials.
Good God.
So, hot take on Super Bowl commercials.
Let's go.
The one in particular.
Okay.
If you can afford to spend millions of dollars on a Super Bowl ad,
Yes.
you can afford to pay fucking taxes. Or, I don't know, use that money to house the homeless or to, try to reduce poverty in the areas that your little
Perhaps.
buildings are all over the place.
Perhaps they used their money that they would have paid taxes for a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
It's either or.
But,
You gotta pick and choose here.
Spread awareness.
I can either pay taxes like the rest of us do, or I can have a commercial.
Or you can have a commercial all about feet.
Feet.
Foot.
Jesus. Yeah, that's who we're
yes,
talking
that's
about.
what we're talking about. Oh, my goodness. According to Elijah, and I kind of agree with this, I think this is something that is, no pun intended, yet to be tapped into in the Cincinnati craft beer market, cask beers.
Oh, I get it, because
We-
the tap
yeah.
beer
Hey!
taps. That's
Yeah.
clever. Did you come up
Hey.
with that? Like how? Is it in your notes right now?
Yeah.
It is. She wrote that down. Look at it.
Yet to
It
be
says
tapped.
make tap joke beer tap beer
Insert
tap,
tap
and there's a little
joke
picture.
beer.
Oh, that's cute.
They just mansplained my own joke to me. What the fuck? Dude. Like, wow.
I'm not
Really?
explaining the joke to you. You came up with the joke. I'm explaining to all the dudes that are listening that are too stupid to figure it out. That's not mansplaining.
That's fair. That's fair. It was still somewhat condescending, though.
Yes, it was definitely condescending. It was definitely
Take a step back.
definitely a little insulting.
A little bit like, whoa, wait a second. Wait just a second.
I like your picture, by the way. It's a good little cartoon you drew.
Thank you. I know. I worked really hard on that one. So I appreciate you noticing. One of the last notes that I had, because it was like a 30-ish minute episode.
24
about 20,
minutes.
24, 26 minutes.
24 minutes and 37 seconds.
There we go.
actually.
Perfect. Thank you, because that was not in my notes. I'm glad that
in
someone was
mine.
responsible
Yep.
enough to write it down.
Well, that picture that drawing
It
took up so
did.
much.
It takes up like
room.
half of the page.
I just made that up.
What?
Yeah. What?
That's our truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you drink leftover beer the next day?
I do not.
Left
usually.
over beer. I don't.
A, correct.
I don't understand
but
that.
B, like, let's just say
What is that phenomenon?
there's a party, there's something, everyone's having a great time, and you pour a beer into your glass, and you kind of forget about it. The next day you come down, you see your glass there, and you know it's safe. You know that there's no reason not to,
Well.
whatever. And you're like, it's been sitting there overnight.
Right, it doesn't have
is-
the napkins with
it is-
somebody's
Number one.
chew spit in
It is flat and lukewarm. Are you drinking it?
Number one, nobody has fun at my parties, so that's already
That's
your
a
whole
lie.
hypothetical situation
That's
is not
a lie.
real.
I had a great time
But
with
no,
Marco.
I'm not drinking
bartending.
old beer.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking old beer.
But yeah, how about Marco? You?
Oh, I would not do that.
Yeah, same.
Old beer.
Not
No,
do that.
Not good beer.
Even
Nope.
even in
If
my
I
younger days, no.
Yeah.
There was definitely probably some times in college, but it's like it's not really overnight. It's like you go to sleep unintentionally, and then you wake up and people are still hanging out, and you roll over and. You've been asleep for a few hours, and
There's
there's
my
a half-finished beer.
It
and
could
there
have been
is.
anything from
And
15
you drink it
minutes to
like,
3 days. You have no idea.
That's been a long time. And then you
But at
go
that
get
point,
another
yeah.
beer.
But
Are
at that
there
point, you're
some
not even tasting it. Really.
unopened
It's just
unopened cans or bottles of room temperature beer on a table. I mean, pop
maybe
it open.
sure,
Yep, yep,
right,
yep,
right.
yep.
But yeah.
But if it's an open bottle can, or
Yeah,
it's in a glass and it's just been sitting overnight.
That's how you get roofied.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Not saying.
Or slowly poisoned by somebody else that has a podcast.
Yeah.
Just
so
hypothetically.
so does that mean Joe may be poisoning Caroline, or Caroline may be poisoning?
I think they're both
Joe?
poisoning each other.
Each one thinks that they have the upper
Yes.
hand, like they have no idea, and secretly it's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. All right, do we want to move on to Drinking with the Gnome or Cincy Brewcast?
Well, I'm the Gnome, and I would like you guys to drink with me, so let's go drinking with the Gnome.
Let's go.
All right. This is episode 24. Drinking with Sam Calagione, Sustainability and the Bigger Picture.
Yep.
Now, this was recorded several months ago.
September.
In September.
Well, part of it.
Correct. Other parts of it were recorded much more recently than that.
Saturday.
Much more recently than September. Yes. There will be the video portion of this.
Can confirm.
Of this.
Saturday was sooner, much closer than September.
Thank you. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to get out my phone and
I just looked
be
it up.
looking. Did you look it up?
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. The YouTube component should be showing up on the YouTubes within the next week. Is that fair to say? Ish.
Always
So-
an ish.
So a week from Tuesday, we'll just say.
Yeah, ish.
Okay.
Ish.
Sounds good to me. Let's see. What else do I have? We didn't even get started. I don't even know. This happened when you were at Sam Adams to talk about sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sam Adams, Dogfish Head, and wasn't there a third?
It was
Either person or company that was there.
There were
I
three
didn't go
people that
back.
were there. It was well, there were a lot of people there.
Well,
but,
yeah.
Sam Calagione, Chris Siegman from Sam Adams Cincinnati Taproom, and then Jennifer Glanville. Oh, no, she was not on the panel.
Because I thought there was a third person that was listed on the panel,
There was
but I
definitely.
didn't go back to look at it. So.
I'd have to look at my notes to know who the other person was. It was like their director of sustainability or something. She's the sustainability person at Sam Adams.
Yeah.
I don't remember what her name was. But that's not part of this episode.
Right,
The
not at
panel
all.
is a whole just a video. I'm not going to do a podcast about that. It's
Right.
video. You guys will see the whole panel. It's fun.
That's cool. Looking
You get to
forward
spend the first 3 minutes of the video with me trying to balance a camera on something.
So it's just-
Yeah, I didn't bring a tripod, so I'm trying to balance it on things. And so it's just...
Well, eventually you'll learn to better
settles in.
prepare for these kind of things
Yeah.
as you get better at doing
I was excited.
video podcasting. Oh, hell
Sam
yeah.
Calagione.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
could you not be?
That's
and then
exciting.
for him to spend a couple minutes talking to you just one-on-one, absolutely ridiculous.
You
That is
didn't-
so freaking cool.
You didn't mention the exciting part. We kick off the episode with him saying my real name. First thing he says on the show.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up in case some people might not have heard that.
It was funny.
So that is not
Just-
my story to
just
tell.
lets it fly.
So therefore, I was
You
not
used
going
his
to
real
mention-
name.
I did. He didn't tell me not to.
Very, very true.
I told him not to.
Some of the conversation started with what craft beer was when Dogfish Head started compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
And how they had to balance being a follower to some of the beer trends that were going on versus being kind of being innovative and trying new things and being kind of a leader and being experimental about what they're doing, and how that played into trying to get from where they were to where
Right.
they are now.
I find this whole thing extremely fascinating right now because we're coming off of a week right now, which we'll talk about in a minute with Cincy Brewcast. We talked to MaadTree about kind of them figuring out who they are, and then you couple that with Dogfish and them trying to figure out who they were kind of in those early days, and it was very different. Like now even though here in Cincinnati we don't really have a blueprint for that. In craft beer, like you do, like that there's these different ways that you can kind of push into different parts of community or
Sustainability.
something
Or,
that resonates with you. That was not the case back then.
Right.
they were the ones that figured it out, and I don't know that they really understood what they were doing at the time.
Because a lot of that stemmed from trying to source local ingredients.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of it was because of either cost or just the ties that they had with the community,
Yeah.
they didn't realize how much that was playing into. Well,
It
wasn't them trying to be sustainable.
No, and it
But it
also
turned- but
wasn't
it was,
necessarily
yeah.
local based either. Now, they were the local component, and a lot of things they were trying to do and then obtaining different things. They weren't local at all, as a matter of fact. But the Worldwide Stout actually boasts the fact that they're using something from every different continent.
Right, right.
But it was them doing it which made it small and local and edgy and all of these different things. And then as they started to keep going and then take a look at what they were doing, then
they made a beer with like space dust, didn't they? Like actual like moon dust.
Was it?
Wasn't that Dogfish?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure they made a moon dust beer.
And then they did some.
That's like as far as you can go.
That sounds
to get an ingredient.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember if that was Dogfish Head or not. Wouldn't surprise me.
I'm like
Pretty sure it is.
99% sure it was Dogfish that made moon dust beer.
And as they went along, then they started to turn that sort of vision and focus into what can we do here, what can we affect here locally and get or source locally, and so that all kind of evolved.
Yeah, they figured it out. Like,
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me to think about like being in that journey, not like just coming into it and be like, all right, we've got this blueprint. We know the steps we need to take to get from here to here. That's still great, but like to be one of those places that's like, how are we going to do this? Okay, well now what does that mean? Okay, well then how do we do that? And then what does that mean? And then now who are we? And
Right,
then like
right.
it's this like evolution and this journey, and I thought, man, that's cool stuff that not a lot of breweries can say because there have been so many people that came before them, whereas Dogfish was early,
Very early, yeah. Let's see. There was a very big, I don't even know if it was a prediction, but just a statement. Print media is coming back.
Oh yeah.
100%. And so are glass bottles. Beer and glass, print media.
Yep. Shout out to Final Gravity, Beer Zine, and Wandering Monsters bottles.
Absolutely. They are making the revolution happen. 100%. According to Sam, MadTree is just a small guy in the Cincinnati craft beer scene, which I do. It is.
Yeah.
It is funny when you do kind of take that step back and go. Some people from some areas outside of the Cincinnati, bubble, so to speak,
Yeah.
if they have Dogfish Head in their backyard or like a New Belgium, something like that, they're looking and going, MadTree, like that's a tiny little place. What,
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny, you live and just not really small to us, they're kind of one of the Cincinnati giants out here. So I thought that was a pretty funny take to see because I don't even know if like Jim Cook would say MadTree small, but again he has that very local lens on it. But I don't know.
Both of those guys, like I would just love to. There's a lot of things that I would love to do with them, and I would love to sit down and talk about the kind of the history, obviously, of their businesses. But I would love to like just take a day with each of them and just be like, all right, let's go drinking. I'm going to take you to a few places and let's talk about what the hell's going on here, and to get their take on what's happening here, and kind of from their lens and their perspective.
So what if you could pick 3 local breweries to take them to?
Good one.
Where would you take them to? And it can't be separate for each. It's the 2 of them and you together. Like
Okay.
It's a group trip.
Okay.
And you have to only pick 3.
Okay. I need some time to think about that.
Marco, you have any thoughts on if you could take Sam and Jim out to 3 Cincinnati breweries? Cincinnati area breweries. We'll keep this
What time of year?
To the Gnome bubble. Ooh, I'm going to say spring, when it's warm enough to be outside, but it's not summer and miserable. It's just a very pleasant outdoor day.
Okay. I'm getting there. I think
All right,
I've got
it's I don't think it's an easy question. I don't think that it's something. I mean, I guess for some people, they probably could say here, here, and here, and just not even think twice about it.
You could.
But it's, I don't know.
So I'm going Fibonacci, top of my list.
That was one of mine.
I would love to take
same,
both
same.
of them to Fibonacci. I'm maybe going Northern Row.
Okay, yeah.
And then like I want to say like one of the bigger places, but I feel like there's feel like that's not the right answer. I feel like there needs to be.
I mean,
Yeah,
there really aren't any
I feel
right answers. I mean,
think there
it's-
is a tough tug of war with the two biggest places in the area that are, small craft. I mean, we're obviously not talking about Miller Coors. We're not talking about taking Jim Cook
to
his
Sam
own,
Adams.
to his own brewery. Yeah, we're not doing that. Or for that matter, Sam to his own brewery.
I've drank at Sam Adams with Jim Cook.
You have?
I know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, you have it? Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Didn't mean to.
No, I haven't.
You
But
can put that away now.
I almost feel like, yes, there's a tug of war with taking them to one of those bigger places, one of those two bigger places, because it would.
I got my last one. Darkness. Take them to Darkness.
Ooh, yeah.
See, but even to Jim and Sam, if Ryan Guy's doing 150,000 barrels, it's. That's big.
There's
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
No, but there's a
that's
fun.
not big. That's not them big.
But there's a fun conversation. Like I would love to sit at Rheingeist with them and talk about Rheingeist.
Yeah, like this is what they're doing. Or like I was going to
Yeah,
say
but how
MadTree for one of them because mostly
there's-
the sustainability, that kind of thing. But it's like this is what, to maybe you guys, a smaller brewery in the Cincinnati area is doing, and the impact that they've had on the community
Yeah.
with what they're doing and who they are. Kind of tying this into Cincy Brewcast a little bit.
There's a fun conversation around pretty much every brewery. If you get people like that with you at that brewery, like there's something fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Around most breweries.
Yeah. True. True.
There's probably some that would be boring. This place sucks.
I think Fibonacci would absolutely be on my list, although Narrow Path is also way
Narrow
up.
Path is a
I know,
good
right,
one.
right.
Yeah.
I think West Side Brewing would be really fun as well, just because of how well they do all of their beer.
Colin came from Sam Adams,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So it'd be like a reunion
so
of sorts.
long shot winner.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good answers.
There are. Any other ones that you would toss into the mix, Marco? 'Cause I was
No,
trying
I
not to
mean-
do like my own personal
Yeah,
thing,
it's-
like trying to look objectively at all the different breweries.
Like what's
but,
the conversation that could happen around that with
exactly
those people?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all places I thought of as well,
Urban.
really. And see, the thing about Urban is I would venture to guess that Jim's already been there.
Jim has not been there as far as I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think he's a big sour beer fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to take him there and right, I think that might be kind of cool to have that exposure to something that's not the norm, even if
I
he
guess
doesn't really drink a lot
he's
of beers.
technically been on campus, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely been
Yeah.
on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's been on campus, but I don't think he's ever been in the tap room.
For the recording.
Yeah. He drank Sam Adams beer on campus.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would.
I mean, right, if you're Jim Cook, I mean, I can't say that I would argue with him like, hey, while you're here, why don't you? It's like, nope, you can go ahead and just. So does he just have like a holster, like a bandolier that just has
Utility
Sam
belt.
Adams?
Yep.
Nice.
Utility belt.
That way, wherever he
Refrigerated
goes.
utility belt.
Oh, refrigerated utility belt. Yeah, because you can't drink any
There's
lukewarm.
pretzels on the back, beer on the sides.
How many bottle openers?
What's a bottle?
Fair.
Boston.
Fair point.
Boston Lager still comes in bottles, but you can get it in cans.
Also comes cans.
Cans, yeah. Would he rather have? I guess he and Sam both. If they had the option to drink their own beer from a bottle or a can, which one are they going for?
Gotta specify, drink it out of a bottle or out of a can,
Yes, out of. Yes.
or put it into a glass from bottles or cans.
Drink it out of.
Bottle.
I would assume a bottle, yeah.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah.
But if you're just using that as a vessel to get it into your glass, cans.
Right. I would agree with that. But yeah, drinking from, I would definitely say bottle. Let's see, what else do we have here? Because we went way off track on that, but well worth the conversation. It is hard for smaller companies to switch to a sustainable model when they're trying to just keep the lights on day
Trying
in
to
and day
survive.
out. Right. Like, there are so many breweries that, and I'm speaking on behalf of them, even though I have no idea, that probably would love to get into more sustainability and to have more more in those areas. But again, with all the flux, all the different change that's happening, again, when they're saying, sure, it'd be great to actually be able to recycle my pack text myself, or I can do what I need to do to keep the lights on. They're going to choose to keep the lights on for as long as they can and hope that any small things that they do towards either sustainability, community building, that type of thing, they're able to do as part of those efforts to keep the lights on.
It's tough.
It is tough, and then that's why those that are making the way and doing it to the level that some of the breweries are in town, that's why we need to talk about it.
Yeah,
that's
I
why
agree.
that's why the B Corp thing is such a big deal for MaadTree, is because
agree.
they could just crank out beer, and they could just have a couple of great taproom spaces and not really care.
That's it, right.
But they
that's
cared from
not
the
who-
beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the evolution of the way they care and the way that they show that they care brought it to this current state. And it's not staying there. I mean, they hired a person to manage and to lead the initiative and to fill in the blanks where, we want to get to this. So how do we get there? Well, we fill in the blanks with all these different steps and start
Right.
executing that.
And some of that was touched on a bit when Sam described the journey for tractor beer and an unmalted lager, and how they're doing things with both of those beers that do have less of an impact on the environment, and how they're doing it, taking out a step, taking out the need to mess with some of the sugars and all that, equals just a cheaper, a smaller carbon footprint for making these beverages.
So just to give a little bit more insight into what Sam was talking about, is Sam was basically saying they took unmalted barley, which almost all the barley that is going to be used, whether it's pale or Pilsner or whatever it is, it's all malted to a degree, and then it's all malted then to many degrees to get it all the way to the darkest of the roasted malts that we have. So what he's saying is he's taking unmalted barley and then using enzymes to have that enzymatic process convert those or unlock the starches to be eaten by the yeast that eats sugars.
Right, yeah.
And so that's an attempt at being able to take all of the malting process out to be able to make a beer where that process doesn't need to be, either in places where it can't or in places where it makes more sense environmentally to not do that.
Right. Perfect. Thank you for kind of a deeper dive than what I was able to go into on that. Extreme beer still exists. It just looks a little different right now, which 100%. I think that is fantastic. So clear beer is now extreme. So your Imperial Headhunter,
This is an extreme
that
beer.
is an extreme beer. I
Extremely
mean,
good.
This Guten Bock, technically, kind of extreme.
It's clear.
It's clear, right. Marcus holding up his glass now. It's pretty clear. Extreme to the max.
Yeah.
Yep. The main call to action from this episode of Drinking with the Gnome: try to see how your favorite breweries are trying to leave their mark on the community or within the environment, and how they're impacting the community with what they're doing, and get involved as much as you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Any other notes on Drinking with the Gnome? I can't wait for the video to come out, so everyone keep an eye. It'll be out tomorrow.
Ish.
So trying to speak it into existence like that doesn't really
No.
No.
I mean, you can speak it all you want, but it doesn't help.
Keep an eye. Drinking with the Gnome is a separate YouTube page, correct?
This video will be on the Gnarly Gnomes YouTube page.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow all of the Gnomes' YouTube channels. The Gnarly Gnome, Cincy Brewcast, and Drinking with the Gnome, I think, are the three.
I think the way it's going to shift from now is that Drinking with the Gnome, that YouTube page will just be the podcast. So just the audio podcast, actually, even beyond that.
Okay.
So.
And then video content's more going to be just the Gnarly Gnome, you think? Okay.
I think.
Still follow all of them. That way, if something makes its way to one of the other channels,
follow them all.
You don't miss out on anything. All right, did we want to take a quick break before we get into Cincy Brewcast? Or are we good to just keep on running through stuff?
We can take a break.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back. Well, we have successfully made it back. And I guess,
Back.
nice. I was going to say, I guess that's all we get, but
I got it that time?
you did.
I did it.
You did it. Oh, we're so
Yay.
proud of you. I'm still working through my Guten Bock. Marco, you're still you're still working through your West Coast IPA. And then what you got in your glass? Because you got a refill.
I got a Cran orange wheat from Great Lakes.
A wheat.
Wheat.
Nice. And it is
good.
quite good.
It's good.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
good that it's my second one tonight, and it's I love it.
Excellent. Well, we have one final podcast to cover in this episode. So let's move on to the Cincinnati Brewcast.
Okay.
Cheers.
Let me
So
say that now.
someone's doing damage control right now, so they are unable to cheers at this moment.
It's all right. Go ahead, Julia. Take a drink.
All right, I
a
got
drink.
my drink. This is Volume 9, Episode 23. MadTree has a soul and wants you to help it grow. Absolutely fantastic title, I have to say. This was with, and I'm going to try to say her last name correctly, Rhiannon Hoeller. It's not how it looks. Her name is pronounced differently than how it is spelled. She is the Vice President of Experience and Impact. She came from the Cincinnati Zoo, where she is one of the people that took care of Fiona herself. So she is the queen to the Cincinnati Queen. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like it.
We'll go with that. This is the 16th Cincy Brewcast episode to be recorded at MadTree in Volume 9 so far, which means MadTree is the new Cincy Brewcast sponsor and home base. So if you ever want to run into the Gnome, stop by MadTree Brewing Thursdays around between noon and 1 o'clock.
Between noon and midnight, I'll be there.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There
Every
you
day
go.
of the week. Every day of the week.
Perfect. There you go. Glad that you finally have somewhere to actually do your recordings instead of having to run around to all these different breweries all the time. You never know where you're going to end up.
You never know.
It's nice to have a home. As
That's right.
we know from, both our time at BC's Montgomery, they were incredibly gracious to us and gave us a home for quite a while, and now Higher Gravity Summit Park, and it's nice to have a home base.
Yes.
It really, really is. Moving into this episode, the idea of tying the company culture to to be apparent to even a customer walking in just for a beer is part of kind of their mission. They want to make sure that when someone walks through their doors, they're not just getting a beer, but they can see and feel that there is more of an impact to what MadTree is doing. MadTree is trying to find a way to make sure that what they are doing and who they are and the things that are important to them as a company are recognizable for anyone walking into their brewery, regardless if it's because the consumer walking in knows about MadTree's, what they're doing more for the greater good, or if they're walking in just for a beer. They want that person to be able to look around and go, okay, there's more going on here. And that was a huge part of what this conversation was about, which I don't know. It was all absolutely fantastic. They were was it certified 1% for the planet, or just granted that, I don't want to call it a title.
Just part
Is that
of?
a certification as well, or is that
It's a nonprofit that you're part of, I guess.
okay? But it's not a certification process like
you
like
just give
B
away
Corp.
1%.
Okay.
You probably have to.
You probably have to do something to
I don't know.
prove that your ethics and all that meet the same, whatever. But I
Something.
didn't know if that was also a
It's very different than B Corp certification.
sure.
You don't have to go through all
yeah,
that
yeah.
process.
Right. Which apparently it seems like 90% of the B Corp certification process is all documentation. Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot. I would be very interested, and I could probably look this up and find it online somewhere, but kind of seeing all the different categories that I guess you can pick from to become B Corp certified,
Why-
and like what you want to focus on. Like, I'm sure there's an overarching, they want you to touch on all the different categories. Rhiannon mentioned it a bit, talking about that, but to really see what those categories are, what the breakdowns are, and see or try to figure out maybe why MadTree picked the ones that they did to focus on
Right.
for this endeavor. There were more mentions of water and beer, so we need a water episode I don't care who you talk to,
It's coming eventually.
or even multiple people. Like, just get little clips on multiple brewers and breweries talking about their water and the importance of water and changing the water and just all of that super geeky stuff that I'm probably not going to really understand most of, but I still want to hear to try to just absorb more of that process. So get on it. I know you don't have a lot going on right now, so maybe in the next
We'll make
week
it happen.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's see. MaadTree's decision to invest in the community in person, such as planting trees, is very, very intentional. I think you brought up that they probably could have put money into paying someone somewhere to somehow reduce, or have a carbon offset. But instead, they're like, no, we want to be present. We want to make sure that the community sees us and knows that we don't just, talk the talk, but we are walking the walk, and we want to make sure that that walk is felt by the community and not just, words on a banner somewhere or on a website.
Well, I think there was still a mention of asking their patrons
Sure.
about a carbon offset.
Sure, right, for their event space.
Yeah.
And all that. Right, but it's
kind of interesting.
But that's not something that is the only thing they're doing to try to be environmentally responsible.
No, absolutely.
There are a lot of companies that are like, oh, for every purchase you make, we offset our carbon footprint for blah, we whatever. And it's like, but if you're not making changes within your company at your spaces to do that, isn't that just balancing everything out? Again, I don't understand a lot of how that works, but I do like that MadTree. It's an option for people, but
it's like
they
getting
are trying
an
to
apple
do
with your
more-
sandwich at Panera instead of getting chips
or the baguette.
or the baguette. No, you know what I'm gonna
Right. It's
take
like,
the apple.
what? I'm doing the apple with my bread bowl full of,
Yes.
what, broccoli cheddar soup. It's
Correct.
like, that's not help. Although I do always kind of get a little giggle at seeing, the bread bowl full of soup and then the baguette next to it. I'm going, you need a side of bread with your
Yes.
bread. I mean, I'll
Yes.
I love
Absolutely.
carbs. Love carbs. Fantastic. I like the fact that it was mentioned that the employees get to see where the company's dollars are going. They see where that money is being invested as far as, again, kind of walking the walk that they set out to do, that they are saying, this is who we are, this is what we want to put back into the world, and let the employees know you're part of this too now that you're part of our company. You can see what we're doing, how we're doing it, where we're doing it, and they want them to be as much as involved in all of that as they can. Bringing new locations online has been a super smooth process. Not a lot of bumps, not a lot of issues.
Sure.
They figured it out with MadTree 1.0, so transitioning into 2.0, and then the Alcove, Parks and Rec.
Yeah, nailed it.
It's been amazing, and it's all thanks to good documentation.
That's right.
Absolutely. I
They
love
scrawled everything on paper towels.
I love their core values of connect, grow, and pet a duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often should you water your duck?
At least twice a day.
Twice a day.
At least
okay.
twice a day. Actually, I think that might have been an autocorrect, which I don't know how that happens in like a handwritten notebook, but
An autocorrect
You know,
in a
I mean,
handwritten
it's-
notebook.
I was distracted. I was thinking one thing. I was looking at the Long Bottom Bird Ranch Instagram page. I'm taking notes on this and that. But no, but in all honesty, connect, grow, and give a fuck. And I absolutely love that. They have the Give a Fuck Award yearly that
Yeah.
that their employees vote on their colleagues for who they feel is gave the most fucks in the previous year. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of times at my job where I have none to give. So for them
Right.
to notice
Yeah. Well-
someone had a lot to give
Right.
and gave them,
Gave all of them, all the fucks.
it's deserving of recognition.
Also, some companies where there's too much fucking happening.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, let me show you this.
Don't show
License
me
plate.
anything.
Put
it away,
No,
put it
no,
away.
God,
Let me show you this license plate.
no. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's his phone.
Oh.
Thank God.
This was the license plate parked behind me at Kroger today.
Wow.
Okay, I need to see.
Wow.
I love him. What is that? Is that a Hyundai Elantra or something?
What?
That's P Diddy, guys. It's P Diddy.
P Diddy. Why?
Why was he there? That's a good question. Why was he there?
And he tries to go incognito driving his Corolla.
Yeah.
But then he has a personalized plate.
Yeah.
So kind of missing the mark there, I think.
It's funny.
I'm a little offended right now. So you showed Julia the picture.
Yes.
And then you turned it to me, but before you turned it to me, you zoomed in more.
Yeah.
Is that because I'm old?
Although it could be like the glasses, the eyesight thing, which
Maybe, but
you should
I have
see
glasses.
my glasses.
I have
so.
glasses on. Like they help my eyesight. I should be better.
All right, going back to Cincy Brewcast.
Back.
So Rhiannon talked about her personal craft connection, which started in Nashville. Hell of a place to get started. I mean, I
Yeah.
know there are plenty of people that
Yeah.
that grow up in that area or that move into that area, experience craft beer for the first time there, move to different areas, but that's a hell of a jump.
It is a hell of a spot to start.
Right, no kidding. So has she
As
ever...
is Cincinnati.
True. Has she ever experienced macro beer then?
Why are you
Moving
asking
from-
me? I don't know.
No, because you sat down with her. You were talking with her. I didn't know if there were
You heard what we talked about. I didn't ask that.
I'm sure that you have conversations a little bit before and a little bit after.
Yeah,
Just like,
that's
a
fair.
couple brief little, okay, hey, that was pretty cool that you
It's
talked
usually
about.
like, does this sound okay? Can you hear out of your headphones?
What we do to you.
And then afterwards,
Are your ears
thanks.
working? What's going on there? Cool. Appreciate you taking the time to sit with
Thanks.
us. I will say, I did.
Do you want to buy me a beer? That's usually before, after.
But did she?
No.
Oh. No.
No.
She might have. I don't know. I
Did you-
I drank a lot of beer, so I don't know if she bought me one
Okay.
or not.
Okay. You don't. You're not one of those people that checks the.
Nah.
The date and all that.
No.
I typically don't either. I'm just kind of like
Whatever.
I trust that.
Looks good.
Yeah. I will say my tab at the Miamiville Tavern on Saturday was a lot cheaper than I
Yeah,
thought it was
sometimes
going
I-
to be
did you
for
do
the event.
this
I'm like, so I left like an extra big tip. I'm like, I don't know if
Yeah.
you did this right,
I tip-
so I'm going to make sure that like.
I tip kind of insanely high at dive bars because I get confused.
Right, I'm like,
Well, I had X amount of beers. I leave this amount per beer. I'm like, oh, that's way more than the actual bill.
right, exactly. I'm going, okay, so just half of the beers that my Josh drank, like not even all of the ones that's like 75% of what this tab probably is. And I know that I'm like, I don't know what happened here, but
For frame of reference, when you go to a bar like that, usually High Life is around $2.50 for a beer. So when you cash out at the end of the night, if you are the type of person that goes $2 per beer, it's going to look shocking. If you're the type of person that goes normally 20% per beer, in your head, it's also still going to look shocking when it comes. It just
Right.
doesn't feel right. Go with the higher number. Always.
yes, always.
Right. I agree.
Let's see, couple other notes here on this one. She talked about some of the difficult parts of sustainability and consumer communication, like trying to get out into the world. This is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is how it is, or how we feel it's having an impact or is going to make a difference in either the community, the environment, which I think is great to try to let people know we're not just saying stuff, we're doing this, and this is why all of our flatware is plastic. This or the biodegradable. I don't think it's plastic. I think
You can eat it, I think.
Right, or probably you probably could.
I think you can.
I think
It's
you
just
can,
It probably
yeah,
doesn't
it's
taste
just,
good, but it might take a while to chew it up. But
A little sorrel or
I think you
some
can.
sweet baby rays on that.
Ooh yeah. Put some Sweet Baby Rays on your spoon and then
Can I
just,
try your fork?
It's like what? Sure, but can you take that out into the parking lot because we don't want to? No.
I like foods that don't require silverware
When you're at
drinking
it.
beer.
Agreed. I would agree with that. Yeah. Let's see. You guys touched on some of the things that you can see just by walking into MadTree that showcase their sustainability. It wasn't mentioned, but the first thing that popped into my head was the PackTech wall. which is
Yeah.
a newer addition. It's been there for a few months now.
I
But
did mention PackTex at one point.
Yeah, you did. It was during the part of the conversation about how smaller breweries probably
yeah.
want to do things, but they're trying to keep the lights on, so they really don't have time to put into how can I make my PackTex more recyclable.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm glad that there are breweries that will take your PackTex and will recycle them for you. They will handle all that. But there are some really good alternatives. There are some not so great alternatives, but they are
There's some.
more environmentally responsible.
I've never found an alternative that works.
As well.
I guess cardboard is probably the best alternative, right?
Is it
With
high grade that
cardboard,
has the
6-pack rings.
Yeah, is
No,
it
like just a cardboard 6-pack holder, like that.
Oh,
Yeah, like the-
like for
old
bottles?
school. Like, wouldn't that still be the
Oh,
best?
yeah.
Like, right? Isn't that probably still the
would
best,
think
most
so.
sustainable solution for cans?
I would think so. And bottles. I mean,
I would think so, but
Yeah.
what do I know?
is it high grain that has the cardboard 6-pack rings? There's a local
Do
brewery
they still
that
have
has,
those? I think they
don't
might have
know.
gone away from them because they
Okay.
don't work good. They fail.
They're
and then cans
okay.
fall, and that's
They're
the problem
fine.
with
They're
all.
fine while everything's cold in the cooler. Once you're taking it home, and those cans start to condense a little bit, and so that cardboard gets a little wet.
So, but
That's when there's a failure.
That's why I think like still the old school like
The-
cardboard 6-pack holders.
Yeah,
Isn't there,
They have a couple on the
wasn't there
bottom
some
shelf down there, yeah.
Wasn't
I
think
there
those are
some
still
that
the
rodents
best.
were eating?
Yeah, there's some that are
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
like edible. They're like made out of corn or something.
Yeah.
And so
Like those packing peanuts that are made out of cornstarch that you're not supposed to eat, but you know
can.
what? There's
can.
nothing wrong with it. If you need some extra fiber in your diet,
they don't taste good.
no.
they don't taste
They
good.
don't
Not
taste
that I know.
bad.
Those are the ones that you
In
spray
theory.
with water and they just
and they,
they
dissolve. Yeah.
disintegrate.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
This is all cornstarch.
Yeah,
So,
my
it's
kids
all-
like that. Urban Artifact was using those when they first started shipping beer, and so every time a box came in, I'd get my kids in the kitchen, like, check this out,
We're gonna
guys.
eat
And I
this.
I wouldn't eat them, but I'd
Oh.
dump them all in the sink, and I'd be like, watch this, and I'd take the thing, and I'd spray it, and they'd all dissolve. And the
Disappear.
kids, oh, that's
Wow,
so cool,
it's
Dad. You're
magic."
magic, Dad. You're
That's awesome.
amazing. Now they just
Fucking Bill Nye the
now
Science
you want me
Guy
to go to
over
bed.
here.
Bill.
Beer,
We've
beer,
seen
beer,
this before,
beer.
Dad. Yeah, see, I'm the kind of person that get a box that has the peanuts, and I'm like, hey, look at this, you can eat this. And Josh was like, don't eat that. And of course, what do? I put it in my
Yep,
mouth.
yep.
So
With some hot sauce?
It's always I just plain.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
So what's
better-
always
better
what's
with
always
hot sauce.
funny is when I get if like there's a package and they're definitely not. I'm like, hey, Josh, watch this, and he's just like, no.
That's good.
Anyway, so MaadTree would be the local brewery to either bring back the carrying cases, although I guess, is there more of a risk of the bottoms falling out of those than
I don't
a
think so.
tactic thing?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know the science.
MaadTree work on it. I expect results in third quarter.
I just feel like they're.
third quarter 2025. I'll give you some time.
I feel like they're pretty biodegradable. Maybe I don't know
They
some
might be.
kind of
They might have
science that I'm
some kind of
missing.
plastic coating on the outside, like a line. I don't know.
You should be able
but-
to take that off and
right,
still be.
right. It'd be
I don't know.
fine.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
Somebody can tell me.
All right.
Send me an email.
Yeah.
Send me an email. Some kind of environmental scientist.
Yes.
Tell me why they're bad.
Let's see. I had 2 other notes. They interrogate their vendors daily.
Yep. Everybody should.
They run them through the ringer to find out, do you fit with the
Spanish
the people that
Inquisition.
we want to put. Yeah. No one expected that.
You will
Yeah.
talk, Dr. Jones.
Exactly, to make sure that their vendors are doing what they want them to do. And it also allows them to be pickier on who they pick to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of giving this, hey, we know all about you. You know what we stand for. You can either do better or we can go with someone else. So it's kind of a not quite mafia level of
No, it is mafia level.
Is it full out mafia level?
I'm not supposed to say this, but it's definitely
Oh.
mafia kind of thing.
and you
going
would
on.
know. I mean,
Yep.
you had the inside track right there. All right.
You also have to study different flashcards of different tree barks.
Yes.
And be able to identify the tree bark
Yep.
at your semi-annual
Some of those look very
merit
similar.
increase review.
Birch!
Well, it's almost she talked about the merit increases for that, but then she also tossed in like your one-on-ones with your manager. So
Hickory!
this is probably even bigger than
Right.
just your yearly review. I mean, Sycamore. That
Right.
one was Sycamore. I know that one. I
got
know
the
that
Sycamore?
one. I got Sycamore.
Sycamore. I thought they
Yes.
didn't do that anymore. That's a March.
They
1st
just sick them
reference.
less. No, that was a bad joke.
If you know, you know.
Last note that I had, call to action. Volunteer with MadTree. If you're interested in getting involved with all the things that
put
they
it
are
in the show
doing.
notes.
You put it in the show
put it in the
notes.
show notes.
There's a yay.
Thank you.
There
guys.
is a link in the show notes, or you can, if you don't want to look through show notes, which look at show notes. They're fun. Like I put like fun little, like we talked about these weird random questions in our show
I don't
notes.
put fun things at all.
No?
You
No
put
fun?
you put fun links.
Sometimes I put the links
no
that I
fun
say
notes?
I'm going to put, but no fun notes.
So read our show notes and
I keep track of how many beers I drank.
This
I
is
put that
true.
in the show
You do.
notes.
Yeah, you
and
absolutely
we're almost about to hit 1,000.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I could have done it the show that I just recorded this week, but I
You
didn't.
On purpose, or was it just a, oh, shoot.
It
we
was
didn't-
like I would have had to like it would have to be like a lot of beer in that episode, and I'm like, it seems forced.
But yeah, going back to the volunteer at MadTree, find the link to how to volunteer with them via the show notes for this
Yeah.
episode.
Show notes!
Volume 9, Episode 23 of Cincy Brewcast. Or if you go to MadTree's website, it is like way down on the Our Purpose part of their page. You do have to scroll down a bit
Yeah.
before you see the, I forget if it says like volunteer with us or join us or something to that
I
extent.
bet if you hit them up on social media and just say, hey, how do I volunteer?
Oh, absolutely.
They'll respond with a link.
Absolutely.
I bet they would.
100%.
And if they don't, send them to me.
Ooh. Was that an actual threat towards MadTree?
No.
Oh, Leon. That was great. Any other notes from anyone else on this episode of, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Why not? The Cincinnati Brewcast.
Okay,
Oh,
cheers.
I have. All right. Well, I guess that's all that we have for this week's episode.
That's all I got. I'm done with that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Agreed. Thank you once again for joining us, Gnome. Always fun
Of
having you
course.
sit here. Especially fun when you're fired up about something.
Yeah, I'm distracted. It's the better word.
Distracted? Okay. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Sorry.
If you like what we did, please like, review, subscribe, share, do all the things that you know you're supposed to do. All of the links to everything we do can be found at our website, truthbeerpod.com. If there's something you want to tell us, we're on social media, truthbeerpod pretty much everywhere, or send us an email, truthbeerpod@gmail.com. If you like events that are put on by local breweries and bottle shops, follow our sister podcast, Cincy Beer Events. Or check out the Cincy Beer Events Facebook page. Believe it or not, Cincy Beer Events. We're trying to reshare as many events as we happen to see on that platform. Hit us up there for anything related to that. Subscribe to our Patreon. It is a riot. It is mostly unedited episodes of what
Don't
we
riot.
do.
Rioting's bad.
Okay.
Yeah, just
That's fair.
laugh, but don't riot.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Just putting it out there.
So laugh if you want to laugh even more
Yeah.
at the things that we are doing. Our Patreon is amazing. I say mostly unedited because I do cut out the silences when we take breaks, so no one wants to sit there while there are like 20 minutes of just dead air. Those are
I
gone.
would sit there.
Well, maybe I'll leave
Gives
one
me
in.
a chance to get up
Yeah,
and get a beer.
Oh,
Get up,
while
get a
you're going to the
beer.
bathroom? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, maybe one of these episodes I will leave one
Just
in
leave all
just
the
for you. I'll leave the
silences.
silences in and be like, this is what you're dealing with, people. And people are going to be like hitting that 30-second fast forward, like,
That's what
where
it's there
does this
for.
come back?
We can always fast forward.
Very true, you can. All right, with that being said, I know we already cheers once, but what are you guys going to be doing next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, big day. It's
Big day.
Koch night.
I'll probably be apologizing to another brewery. Or former brewery. Are they? I don't even know how
I
this
don't
works.
know.
I don't know.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yes, we
Bye.
will.